Every year, I put budget aside to invest back into my professional growth. And this year, I have chosen to attend in person, leading the product conference in Sydney. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Teresa and I'm a product director based in Melbourne, Australia. And on this channel, we explore strategies and tools that inspire us to keep growing in our product career. Today, I'll be sharing my key takeaways from each of the speakers in this year's Leading the Product Conference. I'll also talk about who should be attending this conference and what is the cost associated with it. Before we begin, Leading the Product is one of the biggest APEC product conferences. They bring highly credible product leaders across the world to tell us what is the trend coming up in our product space and how do we adapt accordingly in order to be successful in this ever-changing industry. This year's topic was how to solve gnarly product problems. Gnarly product problems. I think it's gnarly.
1 minute later.
Okay, we're back. So this year is how do we solve gnarly product problems. So basically it's how to solve difficult and challenging product problems. So there were 9 speakers throughout the day. However, I only attended 6 of those as I was invited into a leaders track session which has a smaller group, and I'll share more about my experience there as well. Let's jump into the first speaker, Krista Mann, CPO of Prospection. She tackled the problem on how do I provide the value of good product management when executive expectations demand we focus on delivering unvalidated features faster instead of delivering as per our roadmap? Well, my first takeaway was that executive wants certainty. They don't actually care about your product process. They want to know that they will get the value in the investment they're making. So next time, if you're going to show the executive the process on how you're going to achieve the outcome, just don't do it. They don't really care. The second takeaway is, as product leaders, you need to have commercial acumen when presenting to the execs. This is about understanding how much does it cost to run your team and what are the benefits and value will they deliver over time and when. Try to work out or guess the cost of running your team and the cost of creating each feature. Think about how your initiatives fit into the company strategy and when is the payback period. The last one is about thinking bets and tip the bets in your favor. Every decision is about making bets, and the executive are making bets every single day. Try to structure your bets by breaking them down into smaller bets and run experiments to reduce the risk. Learn about the return on investment on doing your discovery. For example, if you have a feature you're working on and that has a low risk, then you should probably spend less time in discovery and quickly delivering the value. If the risk is really high, then you probably want to invest a lot more in discovery by doing multiple experiments before releasing them. Our second speaker was Michael Fountain, Senior Manager of Product Management at DocuSign. He tackled the problem on how do I align my efforts to deliver the outcome in our roadmap when I rely on other teams who are focused on different business priorities. Michael had a great framework around people, which includes 3 steps. The first one is to seek to understand. This is about understanding those strategic partners, you usually call them stakeholders. By reframing them to strategic partners, it takes that formality out of it, which provides inclusion and seek to find common grounds. Build on that relationship by being genuine but strategically curious about the area, and build a private RACI for yourself so you have a better understanding around the accountability and the responsibility. Seek to frame. This is about framing the shared outcome by leveraging things like OKRs, deliverable goals, and identify your cross-team dependencies. The third one is seek to align by establishing a clear roles and responsibility with your strategic partner, share the effort, lead by example, and lead by positive intentions. This means by leading the example and doing what is the right thing. Our third speaker was Joe Bryden, Head of Digital Products, ABC. He tackled the problem of how do I demonstrate the return on investment of the sequence of outcomes in our roadmap to gain trust and consensus across the organization. Joe shared with us his formula of how to build trust. It starts with empathy, having empathy as a leader to make sure people feel like they're being heard. Transparent and inclusive, ensure you bring your team along on the journey and allow them to contribute to the work. Relationships, everyone has different styles, so therefore making sure having those one-on-ones to build a strong individual relationship. Action, ensure you follow through your words with action. This is an important aspect of building trust by demonstrating that you're not just all about talk, but you do take action on them as well. There's one really important point that Joe did mention. In order to gain trust, you must show that you can deliver value first, especially during this challenging economic period. Get some wins on the board first, and then you can quickly build that trust with your team, your strategic partners, and the executive team. The next speakers was Mike Trimby and Ken Sandy. This was during the Leaders Track session, which is an intimate closed-door environment with a longer discussion style format. Mike and Ken took us through a snippet of their 6 months research on the problem space. How do I structure my team so they deliver better outcomes in my organizational type? Overall, there is no best structure. It's all about a set of deliverable decisions tailored to your situation that entails trade-offs. There are 3 levels of influence when making decisions around how to structure your product teams. The first one is the organization, the scale and design to your organization, the strategy, objective, and the culture. The next one is the product team. What is the product strategy? What are the design principles around your team, the team structure, and the people? Third one is around team members, their roles, responsibilities, career path, and their compensation. In their research, it did show 6 types of ways leaders have been structuring their product teams. The first one is based on product, aimed at growing the product portfolio through product lifecycle management and potentially introducing a new product. The second one is more featured teams, focus on a single product with the aim of creating a highly differentiated product or user experience in terms of quality, features, and design. The platform teams, gaining scale of execution across internal teams or becoming the platform of choice for other organizations to build on. More outcome-focused teams, a growth strategy built around the core aspect of the conversion funnel, example awareness or acquisition. The more customer journey-focused teams around experience-centric strategy, create products and services that are designed to meet the needs and expectation of customers at every stage of their journey. The customer segment team, more of a market expansion strategy, increase sales by entering new markets or expanding organizations' reach within the existing market. Our next speaker in the Leaders Track was Laura Cardinal, CPO from Estimate One. This was a super interactive session where she tackled the problem, how do we strengthen individual and team resilience in constantly changing environments? Rachel took us through the Prima Leadership Habits, which represents the 5 core elements of happiness and well-being. In this activity, Rachel made us reflect on these as leaders ourselves and what do we do with our team currently today or should be doing with our team tomorrow. The first one's around positive emotions. What makes you and your team feel good coming to work? Engagement. What's that flow-on activity that you lose track of time? The relationships, what brings you and your team joy and peace and support? Meaning, what brings you and your team purpose every day into coming to work together? And lastly, achievement. What are your goals and what do you do to bring that sense of achievements for you and your team? A really, really important quote that Rachel did say is that we can have resilient leaders without a resilient team. But we cannot have a resilient team without a resilient leader. Our final speaker was Rachel Morley, CPO of Culture Am. She tackled the problem on how do I work with my leaders to make empowered product teams work in the real world and not just a product keynote. Rachel spoke about having a more realistic frame around empowerment. That is, we currently have this autonomy all the way to control, but reframing it to autonomy to learning. Not every single person will be empowered based on their skill sets, and that's just the reality. We need to build a sense of psychological safety for our teams and build a co-ownership so they can leverage our experience where they need it. We do need to work with our teams to make them feel like they're supported, and this could be in 4 different situational responses. We could be doing this by demonstrating the skills because they just don't have the skill set and don't know how to approach the problem. We could do it by assisting them. They do have the skill set, but they might not know or unsure about how to approach the problem. Make them feel supported if they're highly confident on the approach, but may need support in some areas of their skill set. And lastly, motivate them. Those who are highly confident and highly skilled, but sometimes they just need a bit of motivation from time to time. Okay, so how much does all this cost? Well, there are 3 options based off this year's pricing, and they all come with their own benefits. Starting at the high end, the in-person attending ticket, it costs around $699. You can get access to everything while you're there in person. You've got catering, the after party, the worksheets, and these invaluable in-person conversations and networking with product leaders and speakers. They do have early bird sales, which can save you up to about $100 to $200. You can also save by purchasing multiple tickets at once for you and your team. So make sure you join their mailing list and get that notified around the early bird tickets. The second one is the digital attendee ticket, where you'll join the event virtually, costs about $399. You can get access to the events virtually, have Slack communities for discussions of participations online. You can also save by purchasing multiple tickets at once as well. The third one is a season pass. It's a 12-month subscription that costs around $250. It allows you to watch the replay of the events, access to all the on-demand video libraries, past interviews that they've done, and the events at your own leisure. They do have special introductory first-year offers starting at $199 at the moment. Okay, before I wrap up, who is this event for and do I recommend it? This event is for anyone who wants to get into product management, looking to grow their career, and for product leaders looking to build high-performing, inspiring, and always curious product teams. I have attended the event virtually last year, but definitely recommend product leaders to bring their team to be there in person. Even though the cost is quite high, the quality of the conference and production and the people are just outstanding. There were a lot of invaluable conversations in the room with leaders sharing similar problems and speakers providing great guidance and advice. And it's not the same as virtually. As a product leader myself, it can get very lonely sometimes, feeling like you're the only one experiencing those problems. However, being there in person, I've made some new friends and built a larger support network that I can reach out and ask for advice when I need it. So I do suggest you put some budget aside or ask your leader to save it for next year's budget and join me in the next year's Leading the Product Conference, because definitely I'm making this an annual thing for my professional growth. If you find this video helpful or inspiring, please hit the like button below and subscribe to this channel. Also, if you want to share your experience at Leading the Product Conference this year, please put them in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.